Losing time, I'm fading fast. I just wanna make it last. Try to let go of the past. I close my eyes, embrace the blast. Sleepless nights and headaches stack. Restlessness to hell and back. What's my purpose? What do I grab? A slippery surface, a heart attack. And sometimes you just gotta believe. There's something that'll give you relief. There's something that'll have what you need. What you need. We're broken, it's tragic. We're not all elastic, but maybe there's magic. Believe you could have it. And I know of sadness, the anxious and panic, the infinite vastness of all that is blackness.
Hey guys, how you going? New glasses. I finally got them. Yesterday after the live stream, they messaged me and said, your glasses are ready. So I went and picked them up. How do they look? I've got two pairs. This pair, hang on. And this pair, hang on. You can tell me which ones look better. That one and... Oh, they're more comfortable, actually. There you go. I'll use them ones. So, out to lunch, how you going? Charles, how you going? John Paul, how you going? Won't make it. Your aunt, alive, your auntie Liz, dad's baby sister passed away. Oh, God love you. I'm so sorry. My deepest condolences, John Paul. Oh, that's awful. That's awful when someone passes away. Out to lunch, how you going, everyone? Deborah, how you going? Everyone's saying so sorry, John Paul. Thoughts are with you. Alex, how you going? Who else have we got in here? George, how you going? Missy, how you going? Good to see you guys. Alex said so sorry to hear that, John Paul. Sending love and prayers. Dana, how you going? And that's it at the moment. The glasses look nice. You prefer the first pair? Okay. These ones I can slightly see better. They're very, like, they're for close-up, for reading, like, tiny writing, like what's on the, you know, your tablets and things. When you're reading tiny writing on something. Like, I couldn't see it before, but now, oh, actually, I just realised. Do you want to shed some light in the situation, Hev? There we go. Oh, my God. Okay, so there we are. New glasses, and we're ready to go. Today, I was going to do some... Where the hell is it? That's not it. The Gateway Pundit. Right, there it is. Let me show you. Hang on, how old is this thing? Because we've got something about the... Okay, that's the newest one. We might talk about this over on Rumble. Elon Musk doubles down attacks on serial life. Fauci, you're all beagles to me anyway. Crimes against humanity. What's going on here? Yeah, we're all beagles to Fauci anyway. Elon Musk has launched another fierce attack on Dr. Fauci, this time accusing him of committing crimes against humanity. In a tweet posted on X Saturday, Musk shared a tweet on Saturday featuring an image of Fauci likened to a mugshot. Oh, thank you, Robert, for subscribing. Musk shared a tweet on Saturday featuring an image of Fauci likened to a mugshot with the caption, "You're all beagles to me anyway. Crimes against humanity." Elon Musk is getting into it too. The reference to beagles traces back to an exclusive report from the Gateway Pundit in 2021. The report was based on findings by the White Coat Waste Project, a taxpayer watchdog group that advocates for reducing wasteful government spending on animal testing. Because if you've seen what Fauci did to beagles, the dogs, it is disgusting. Show me that and then put me in a room with Fauci. He won't last long. That's horrible. According to documents uncovered by the organisation, the NIAID, under Dr. Fauci's leadership, had allocated part of $375,800 grant to a lab in Tunisia, for experimentation on beagles. The grant money was used to infest beagles with parasites as part of a study published last month. The details of the experiment are disturbing. Oh God, do I have to read this? Oh. The beagles were subjected to torturous conditions, including having their heads locked in mesh cages filled with infected sandflies. These parasite-carrying insects were allowed to feast on the dogs alive. There was a photo of the test which is sure to haunt anyone with a conscience. This recent tweet follows a history of Musk's criticisms of Fauci, including a 2022 tweet where Musk explicitly called for Fauci to be prosecuted, adding "truth resonates." Well, I think most of us feel the same way. Musk has also previously expressed personal grievances related to COVID-19 jabs, claiming in a tweet that he felt he was dying after receiving the second dose. Wow. His cousin, who was in peak health, had a serious case, of myocarditis, had to go to hospital. He had side effects from his booster shot, felt it like he was dying for several days. Last year, Elon Musk posted a video on X trolling deniers of jab injuries and ineffectiveness and the groups involved in forcing the jab on people around the world. Musk posted the following video exposing the gradual decline of jab efficacy, calls for boosters, later reports of jab-related injuries and serious health issues, and finally the billions of dollars in profits reported by big pharma companies, who would go broke if we were all healthy, mind you, in media reports on his X platform asking, "Have you heard disinformation?" Yeah, I heard all the media say that it was safe and effective. That's disinformation. They should be removed. Why aren't they removed? Why aren't they censored? We know why. Amber Rose shuts down leftist TMZ reporter. "We are voting for Trump because we're no longer brainwashed." Good on them. Rep Thomas Massey offers solution to stop Steve Bannon's imprisonment. It's up to Speaker Mike Johnson. Okay, well, he's front and centre. He better step up. He hasn't really looked like he's doing a good job so far, Speaker Mike Johnson. Representative Thomas Massey stepped forward with a proposition that could potentially halt Steve Bannon's impending imprisonment. This plan involves urging Speaker Mike Johnson to rescind the congressional subpoena issued against Bannon to formally disavow what he refers to as the J6 witch hunt. So there you go. He could do it. Whether he does or not, well, we'll see. Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0. They're really hammering for war, aren't they? 4 Russian military vessels, including a nuclear submarine, will visit Havana next week. So an Havana equals a Cuban Missile Crisis, is that right? Just them visiting? FDA expands approval for RSV vaccine, now available for adults over 50. I don't trust the FDA and I don't trust Big Pharma. Charles Barkley says he got fed up and turned off ESPN. What kind of idiots are... What? What kind of idiots are running this network? What's going on here? Can't click on any... Oh, there you go. It's just taking time. Charles Barkley's time on TNT's Inside the NBA might be coming to an end, meaning fans of professional basketball will be without the banter between him, fellow legendary players like Shaquille O'Neal and Kenny Smith, as well as iconic TNT host Ernie Johnson. But the expected end of the beloved program will not stop the 1993 NBA MVP from sharing his thoughts on sports, and especially from sharing criticism of those who cover them, particularly basketball. What problem has he got with them? Okay, Friday morning, ESPN drew the ire of Barkley, which aired Game 1 of the NBA Finals on ABC between the Boston Celtics and the Dallas Mavericks on Thursday night, and will also air the Stanley Cup Finals on ESPN throughout the next week or so. The first game from Boston game wasn't close from the jump. The Celtics drubbed the Mavs 107-89, and the game wasn't as close as that score indicates. But that wasn't what irked Barkley. What did irk him then? I'm trying to get to it. Okay, the basketball analyst and former NBA great joined Outkick host Dan Dakich on Friday, where he called those who run ESPN idiots for spending an inordinate amount of time talking about everything but the game before tip-off. Okay. Is that a bad thing, is it? Okay, I'm not into basketball or sports, so I don't have a clue what the hell they're talking about. A 61-year-old woman was arrested for throwing Molotov cocktails at 2 homes in the Atlanta suburbs. And by the way, when we go over to Rumble today, I've got a lot on the UK and Canada, and clicking's not working. Hello? Anybody home? What's going on here? Hello? Is anybody home? Oh, now it's clicking because I can see it highlighting and jumping, but nothing's working. Okay. Okay, let's go on to this one. What is she wearing? Jill Bite. Oh, there you go. Something's slowing my computer right down. Let me just shut off a couple of these. Is there any I can shut down? Yeah, that one. Okay. 61-year-old woman arrested for throwing Molotov cocktails at 2 homes in Atlanta. After a days-long manhunt, a woman in Gwinnett County, Georgia, was arrested on Friday for throwing Molotov cocktails at 2 homes last weekend. She's being held at Gwinnett County Jail without bail. Police said Hong T. Hein, 61, was responsible for the intentional fires. I wonder if this person, obviously with this name, what is she? She's Asian. Is there any possible way of sending her back? Gwinnett County GA police have arrested a woman they say targeted at least 2 homes with Molotov cocktails. Investigators say Hong T, I'm going to call her, 61, is responsible for 2 house fires that were started on purpose over the weekend. Hong was arrested on Friday and is being held without bond in the Gwinnett County Jail. Fire crews were dispatched to a home on Buckingham Court at 5:45 a.m. on Saturday morning. At 6:04 a.m, firefighters were called to a home on Turner's Ridge Drive, more than 3 miles away, for another house fire. Neighbours had discovered a Molotov cocktail in the front yard of the burnt home. There were bags filled with gasoline and napkins, according to one of the neighbours. The nature of the attack appeared to be personal, but no specific motive has been released yet. One person was seriously injured by the attacks. Family and witnesses described the moments... What's the name? I can't remember. Okay, let's try and pronounce this one. Hein threw the Molotov cocktails at the homes. One woman said she woke up last Saturday morning to flames shooting out of a neighbour's home. Okay, look. Anyone who commits a crime like this, they should actually be sent back to where they come from. That's if she's not born in the US. This is another one I wanted to read. Apparently Jill Biden, we just have to wait a minute. There you go. Jill Biden dons velvet dress with obnoxious train to the Elise Palace for the state dinner video. I don't know how to say that, so don't come for me. Oh dear. It's a bit wonky, isn't it? Is it wonky, or is that just me in my eyes? Maybe there's more gathered up under here or something. I don't know. What is she wearing? Jill Biden arrived at the Elise Palace for the state dinner on Saturday evening wearing an obnoxious velvet dress. Dr. Jill has been racking up frequent fly miles with multiple military transatlantic flights. She flew from DC to France earlier this week to attend the D-Day ceremonies, flew back to Delaware to attend Hunter Biden's criminal trial, then flew back to France. Meanwhile, Joe Biden is lecturing the world on climate change being the greatest threat to humanity. Joe and Jill Biden participated in a state dinner arrival greet at the Elysee Palace with French President Emmanuel Macron and Brigitte Macron. Jill donned a midnight blue velvet dress with an obnoxious white belted train. Nurse Jill had to lead Joe Biden up the steps. And you can watch that. Shh, shh, shh. Okay, thank you. Jesus, that was loud in my ears. I don't know about you guys, but I just blew my ears off. Now, it looks like this side's longer than this side. I don't know, that doesn't look good to me. Have it at least the same length on both sides. I don't know. Maybe it's me. Joe Biden awkwardly claimed at the state dinner that he's a son of American Revolution. Of course he is. Wasn't he like a truck driver? He was a gangster. He's this, he's that. He's everything, apparently. He's everything to everyone. Jill Biden needs a stylist ASAP. Oh dear. Okay. Yeah, she needs a better stylist. You know what she'd be better off in? Those pantsuits. The flowy ones. I like them. Legendary Apollo 8 astronaut William Anders dies in a plane crash at 90. What does that mean? At 90? Who knows? We'll find out in a sec, I suppose. Legendary Apollo 8 astronaut William Anders dies in a plane crash northwest of Seattle on Friday. He was 90 years old. There you go. That's what it means. Astronaut William A. Anders, that's him. In 1966, Bettman Archive file, Bill Anders took the iconic Earthrise photo during his 1968 orbit around the moon. If you believe it. Because I got something on NASA to read on Rumble too. A bystander got footage of Anders' plane nose diving between Orcas and Jones Islands. According to reports, Anders was the only pilot on the plane at the time of the crash. Okay, let's... Oh, not good. William Anders, an astronaut who was one of the first 3 people to orbit the moon and who took the famous Earthrise photo, died Friday after a small plane he was in crashed in the water north of Seattle, according to NASA, local officials and his families. He was 90. The Coast Guard for the Pacific Northwest just said just before 1 p.m. local time that it and the San Juan County Sheriff's Office were responding to a plane crash between Orcas and Jones Islands, which are around 80 miles north of Seattle. The Sheriff's Office said only the pilot was believed to have been in the 2-seat plane. A body was recovered and the pilot's identification retrieved, it said. Okay, give me a sec. Look. They've done this before, right? A body was recovered and the pilot's identification retrieved, okay? That could have been anyone. I'm just saying, because look, they did a similar thing on 9/11. They found the passports. I don't know, I don't trust anyone these days. In 2018, Bill Anders shared his story behind the iconic Earthrise photo he took during his lunar orbit. Anders said he had a 1 in 3 chance of surviving the 1968 lunar orbit. I can't. I mean, he might have an RIP, whatever. I don't wish anyone death, really. Not really, no. Only people who desperately deserve it, who have killed like hundreds of, like Fauci, maybe. I wish justice. That's what I wish. Not for death, but justice. And if that includes a death penalty, well, then I'm all for that. Dire warning from economist Jim Rickards. Are they trying to start a nuclear war? Yes, I could have told you that months ago. And Daily Wire employee fired for sending a supportive message to Candace Owens from his personal email account. I think the Daily Wire are going under. With Ben Shapiro. Yeah. I don't like any side of this thing that they're trying to start. This thing here. Okay, I'm gonna have to let the cat out. Let the cat out of the bag? No, let the cat out of the room. Hang on a sec, guys. Just watch that explosion for a minute. And I've got my dressing gown wrapped around me. Come on. Okay, here we go out. Go on. Got to stay warm, so I've got my dressing gown half on and half off. Holy cow, now trying to get the chair back. Okay. Do I need this on? Hang on, probably not for now. Remind me I haven't got my earphones on in case I think there's no sound again. Okay. Guest post by Leo Homan at Substack, republished with permission. Says Leo, must read article I hope everyone will share with their sleeping friends and family members. If our people knew how close we are to nuclear war, they'd be in the streets demanding peace talks now. I've been warning for 2 years about NATO putting itself on an escalator towards World War III. Many people thought I was a little over the top in my analysis. But now suddenly I'm not feeling so alone in my assessment. Over the last several weeks and months, many other astute observers have finally taken off the blinders, opened their eyes, and acknowledged just how close we are to the point of no return in the rush to war with the world's largest nuclear-armed country, Russia. Well, look, Ukraine have been trying to start it for years. So, Ukraine and the deep state. I can't tell you how many times in recent weeks I've read or heard comparisons to the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis. The only difference is back then we had sane American leaders who realised the importance of diplomacy and talking directly with our adversaries in order to avoid a devastating nuclear exchange. Instead, the media just go, Russia, Russia, Russia. Everything's Russia's fault. Some Western commentators, even some very smart ones, still deny that nuclear war is a real possibility in today's world. Or if it is, it's very remote. My sense that it's not remote at all, given the leadership we now have in Washington. If what we've seen so far is any indication, the Third World War will start as a conventional war between the US, NATO and Russia, and quickly escalate to nuclear warheads exploding on military and civilian targets. I think this is a bit of fear porn. I mean, beware, but we'll see. Like I said, we may have explosions over our countries to cause an EMP. If they did that, if they let a nuclear bomb off in the sky above your country, it can wipe out your electronics. And I believe that's all they would have to do. They don't even have to bomb people. Why do I believe this? It doesn't matter if you like Putin, hate Putin, or indifference towards Putin. There are some indisputable facts. Putin is a popular nationalist leader with the backing of 70% or more of the Russian people who believe NATO has become an offensive existential threat to Russia's existence. It is also a fact that NATO has expanded greatly over the past 20 years against Putin's clear warnings about how that could destabilise East-West relations. Just in the last year, NATO has added Finland and Sweden to its ranks while treating Ukraine as if it's a de facto NATO partner and promising to make it an official member sooner rather than later. This completes the surrounding of Russia's western flank by hostile countries, all of which will host Western military assets. Fact number 3, given Russia's history of being invaded 3 times from the west, each time through the area of Ukraine, Putin will not let it happen a 4th time. He will blow up Europe and the US before he lets his country be invaded and conquered by globalist puppet politicians in Washington, London, Paris and Berlin. So if these puppet politicians persist in poking the bear, there will be no winners. We will all suffer and many of us will die, either instantly or slow and painfully via nuclear fallout, if you believe that too. I'm having trouble here, guys. I really am having trouble believing anything right now. I'm opposed to nuclear war. Like, I know I'm that, that way inclined. Opposition to nuclear war would seem to be one issue that could unite the right and left in today's divided America. We see the left protesting the war in Gaza while ignoring the war in Ukraine, when it's this European theatre that presents the most imminent threat to human life. The American right is always asleep and living in a false sense of security, so that's no surprise. Below is an excellent analysis, if I could just read properly, it'd be great, by economist and attorney James Rickards explaining how we got to this point and why it's not likely to end well. Okay, well, if you don't believe in the board, a certain board, then it probably looks like World War III is coming. But, depends on what you believe. The steady path towards World War III continues. US and NATO support for Ukraine in the war with Russia has been one long failure, but that hasn't stopped them from escalating the war with new weapons and tactics. And now they're bombing with American weapons Russia from the Ukraine. Russia has met the escalation with its own escalation every step of the way. At what point do rational leaders in the West, if there are any left, pause, consider the war is lost in Ukraine, de-escalate and seek a treaty to end the war? There's no sign of that yet. In fact, all the signs point to further escalation, which is a sure path to nuclear war. What good has escalation accomplished? War, what is it good for? Absolutely nothing. Okay. The West supplied Ukraine with HIMARS, precision-guided artillery, but that largely failed because the Russians quickly learned how to jam the GPS guidance system, so the missiles went off course. That doesn't mean the Russians shoot down or jam every HIMARS rocket Ukraine launches. Some will always get through, but overall their effectiveness has been limited compared with expectations. The US and NATO also supplied Ukraine with Abrams, Leopard and Challenger tanks and Bradley fighting vehicles that have been left burning on the battlefield. So we're sending equipment over there to get destroyed, pretty much. Way to go, our bloody stupid governments. They also require intensive maintenance Ukraine can't necessarily provide and are often unsuited for the battlefield conditions in Ukraine. Many Ukrainian soldiers have actually expressed a preference for Russian-made equipment over NATO's. Can you believe this? Can you believe what you're hearing? Oh my goodness, seriously. Not wonder weapons. Meanwhile, the Patriot anti-missile systems cannot shoot down Russian hypersonic missiles and have been destroyed one by one at a cost of $1 billion each. Whoa. $1 billion each. F-16s are the next wonder weapon promised, but Russia fields the most sophisticated air defence system in the world. Many planes will be shot down by Russian S-400 anti-aircraft batteries and other systems. Have they got batteries that can shoot down aircraft? That's how I read it. Anyway, these planes are also old, obsolete models from NATO inventories at the end of their service lives, and they can't even be flown by Ukrainian pilots since they barely read English. The training manuals and maintenance manuals are all in English and have not had enough time to train. It takes about 2 years to become a competent F-16 fighter pilot. The Ukrainians have barely had 6 months to learn. F-16s are also unsuited for the often rugged airfield conditions in the Ukraine. They require pristine runways so debris doesn't get sucked into their engines on takeoff and crash, I assume. They can be operated from NATO bases, but that opens another can of worms. NATO's latest harebrained scheme. Oh, this should be interesting. What's the next harebrained scheme from NATO? Here's the latest example. The US and its allies have green-lighted missile attacks deep inside Russia using US-made ATACMS ballistic missiles with a range of up to 190 miles. Can you believe it? These attacks have hit civilian targets such as the Russian city? Oh, that was not good. Russian city of Belgorod, and critical military targets such as the Russian nuclear missile radar warning arrays. Both types of attack are promoting a severe Russian response, including the final destruction of the entire Ukrainian power grid. The attack on Russia's early warning system is particularly provocative. Ukraine used UK-supplied drones to strike this radar system used by Russia to detect incoming nuclear-armed intercontinental ballistic missiles. The US and Russia already adhere to what's called the launch-on-warning doctrine. That means that if you detect incoming nuclear missiles, you don't wait for them to hit their targets, you just fire. Mutually ensured destruction. Instead, you launch your counterattack as soon as you detect the missiles. When it comes to nuclear war, it's use it or lose it. That puts the world on a hair trigger. Hitting a radar facility that's part of a nuclear defence creates a blind spot in that defence and makes the hair trigger even more sensitive and launch prone. And while Ukraine may have technically launched the missiles into Russia, it could not have done so without precise targeting data provided by the US and its NATO allies. How do you think the US would react if Mexico attacked US targets using targeting data provided by Russia? It would directly implicate Russia and hold it responsible. This is insane. Here's another question. Why would Ukraine attack this radar system at all? Ukraine doesn't have nuclear missiles, so it has no reason to compromise Russia's nuclear defences. The radar has no impact on the ground war. In Ukraine, it wasn't an airfield or ammo depot or any other militarily relevant target. Okay, they're just trying to start the war. That's what I see. And they want Russia's radars out so they can send nuclear missiles to them without them even knowing. This plan is just another example of dangerous escalation by the US and NATO and moves the world one step closer to nuclear war. Ukraine is all too happy to comply. They don't mind killing all their people. They've been doing it for years. They don't care. Don't worry. Be happy. Proponents of escalation dismiss these concerns, saying we've already crossed multiple red lines and Russia hasn't directly retaliated against us. Yeah, just wait. Maybe against Ukraine, but not us. Just hang in there. It'll come. We can therefore go ahead and cross another red line. The Russians won't do any... Oh, that's a very dangerous assumption, let me tell you. First off, that just provides more evidence that Vladimir Putin isn't some bloodthirsty maniac who can't be deterred. He obviously can be, and clearly recognises the dangers of escalation. He doesn't want war with the US and NATO. Why would he? Secondly, and more important, NATO's arming and equipping of Ukraine was never a red line for Russia. Western observers simply assumed that providing HIMARS and ATACMs and tanks would be red lines for Russia, but Russia never specifically said they were. They warned about the overall threat of escalations, but these weren't specific red lines. But direct attacks on Russia's soil are a different matter. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov and Putin himself has issued specific warnings about NATO facilitation of attacks within Russia itself. That's the difference. Here's what Dmitry Medvedev, the deputy chairman of Russia's Security Council, had to say. Russia regards all long-range weapons used by Ukraine as already being directly controlled by servicemen from NATO countries. This is no military assistance, this is participation in a war against us, and such actions could well become a casus belli. Nobody today can rule out the conflict's transition to its final stage. It doesn't take a genius to understand what he means by the conflict's final stage. Does anyone else think we're in the final stage of something? Now, Medvedev, I hope I said that right, often issues provocative statements, but listen to the comments of Russian Deputy Foreign Minister Sergei Ryabakov. It's about as strongly worded as a diplomatic statement can get. I would like to warn American leaders against miscalculations that could have fatal consequences. For unknown reasons, they underestimate the seriousness of the rebuff they may receive. Except the reasons aren't unknown. It's because the West is led by incompetent and reckless people who don't know what they're doing. They don't understand they're playing with fire. Yeah, look at all the people in charge of us at the moment. How stupid are they? Seriously. We've got Anthony Albanese. What a dickhead. Sorry. We got Joe Biden, potato. You've got Trudeau, another dickhead. Sunak, another dickhead. Who else have we got? Most of them are. They're stupid people. Okay, how nuclear war starts. I began studying nuclear war fighting in 1969 and continued my studies for decades, which includes all the leading thinkers about nuclear war. While the experts disagree in certain respects, they all agree on one thing. The most likely path to nuclear war is escalation. No one wakes up and says, "Nice day for a nuclear war, let's start one." Instead, war will be the result of a process of one side raising the stakes, the other side responding in kind and escalating further, and so on in successive rounds, until one party is backed into a corner and has no choice but to use nuclear weapons in an existential response. Ironically, in that situation, the party that is less threatened may actually start the nuclear war in order to get the first strike advantage. I think that tells us what's going to happen. The result is annihilation, not just World War III, but possibly the end of most human life on Earth. Those that survive would probably wish they hadn't, because it's mutually ensured destruction. This is incomprehensible. Ukraine is trying to drag the US directly into the war with the US, boots on the ground. Even events may not get that far. We may be destroyed in a nuclear World War III if this reckless escalation continues. Will anyone stop it? You know who can? Trump 2024. Okay. Smuggler leads Texas DPS on high-speed chase as illegal aliens jump out of the vehicle and flee on foot. Biden mumbles through remarks in France, claims he's student of French history. Can anyone count how many claims Biden has made that he has done this and that and been a truck driver and this and that and everything else? He's everything to everyone. Here you go. Caitlin Clark's stats prove she's leading most Olympians in most categories, but women's basketball brass was worried about her millions of fans. I don't know. I don't care about sport that much. Matthew Graves and the left's two-tier justice system. Pro-Hamas protester receives 48 hours community service for assaulting female DC police officer versus J6's years of federal prison for similar or lesser charges. St. Louis couple who displayed guns at BLM protesters to protect themselves have their records expunged. Look, I'm serious. I'm not going to do anything wrong, but if they arrest me for, say, not getting jabbed, right? Fine. Because I know it'll be overturned. Travis Kelce says Secret Service threatened to tase him during a White House visit. They weren't too happy with me. Why, what did you do? As Chicago burns, Mayor Brandon Johnson spends through $30,000 on hair and makeup in 1 year. Jeez. You know how much I could do my hair and makeup in 1 year for? About $100. All up for the whole year. That's all my hair and makeup and everything covered. Oh my God. Maybe not even that. UK elections, Conservative and I'm a female. UK elections, Conservative PM Rishi Sunak is trashed for leaving D-Day celebrations early, while Brexit champion Reform Party's Nigel Farage wins 7-way TV debate. And Joe Biden, well, let's have a look at this one. Joe Biden unveils new scheme to kill off gas-powered vehicles after government roll out for EV charging stations, crashes and burns. And I was just watching a video of a supposed Tesla in self-drive mode. I didn't see a train. And the guy had to grab the steering wheel and slam on the brakes at the last minute because he was letting it drive and it didn't see a train in front of it. Also bad weather, and apparently you shouldn't drive in let it self-drive when you're in bad weather, apparently, because when you can't see properly, neither can the sensors. We've got some great technology, haven't we? They're not better than your eyes. Joe Biden unveils new scheme to kill off... Yeah, okay, let's go. I need a sip of my tea, actually. I'm getting an itchy throat. Okay. Joe Biden is not letting government incompetence prevent them from achieving their goal of destroying the American auto industry and forcing ordinary citizens to drive inefficient electric vehicles. And what happens when the power goes out? You can't charge it. You can't go anywhere. That's what they want. As the Daily Mail reported, the Transportation Department issued a mandate on Friday for automakers to squeeze off another 16 miles per gallon out of their cars to remain in business. At the same time, they must double the fuel efficiency of their trucks. Honestly, these Department of Transportation and stuff, I think you need to get rid of half of them too. This is the regime's latest push to ensure all Americans have no choice but to use electric vehicles by 2032, as the outlet notes. It also comes as the Biden regime finalised a slate of economically crippling environmental regulations curbing gas-powered vehicle tailpipe emissions less than 2 months ago. I wouldn't listen to them. Like, seriously, I'm not even listening to them. Here is more from the Mail on the new mandate. The latest rules impose average miles per gallon limit across manufacturers' entire product lines. So if they make more electric vehicles, they'll find it easier to meet the targets. Their passenger cars will have to average 65 miles per gallon by 2031, up from 48.7 miles today. Pickup trucks and sport utility vehicles will have to average 45 miles rather than 35.1 miles today. But heavy-duty pickup trucks and large vans will have to nearly double their fuel efficiency from 18.8 to 35 miles per gallon. It all depends on how much weight is in the thing. Try and put any weight in an electric vehicle and tow it. You won't last long. What the hell? The Transportation Department estimates the regulation will save 8 billion tonnes of carbon emissions by around 2050. And if you believe carbon is a problem, I don't know what to say. You know, trees breathe that in and give us oxygen. Carbon is not the problem. Get rid of carbon and everything will die. This new scheme comes as Biden regime admitted last week that only 7 electric charging stations have been built since the $1 trillion bipartisan infrastructure bill was signed into law by Biden in November 2021. So 3 years later, there's 7 electric charging stations, and where'd the $1 trillion go? The legislation had authorised the federal government to build 500,000 EV charging ports by 2030. I think they're way behind. They've only built 7. Do you think they're going to get, in 3 years, right? They built 7. We're being had severely. Radical left Senator Jeff Merkley, one of the Congress's leading climate alarmists, angrily lashed out during a Senate hearing on Wednesday while sharing news of this unsurprising government debacle. Look, you can angrily lash out all you like. It's not going to change the fact that carbon's not affecting the weather. Everyone cares about the environment, but the weather changes, and the sun has a lot to do with that. Not carbon, not methane. Which methane, I heard, turns into oxygen anyway. Or there's a process that it goes through that methane ends up being mixing in and just becoming part of it. You need everything, right? That's just pathetic, Merkley said. Something is terribly wrong and it needs to be fixed. Biden has taken Merkley's fury to heart. Of course he has. And ordinary Americans will once again pay a heavy price. The only sure way to reverse this madness is by electing Donald Trump in November. Go Trump. Let's go. Let's go Brandon. Trump is echoing Reagan's genius New York strategy, and the results could be similar, prominent historian says. A vicious school bully caught on tape savagely assaulting crying girl and forcing her to lick the bathroom floor. Victim then vanishes for several days. That's a bit weird. Is there any more info? I've clicked it. I've just got to wait. Or do I? Yep, I do. I don't want to see the video. Mashpee High School in Cape Cod. Okay. 15-year-old Elia Compton was not only savagely beaten by the young thug, but forced to lick the bathroom floor. An accomplice of the bully gleefully films the entire... Look, the people who are filming it are just as guilty, mate, these days to me. Okay. I don't want to see the video. A girl proceeds to rain blows on her head before suddenly pointing at the floor by the garbage can, lick the ground. Okay. What happened? Where she vanished on Sunday before being found safe on Wednesday after an extensive search. It's unclear at this point whether her disappearance is linked to the school assault, but it's hard to imagine they are not related. Mashpee Police Chief Scott W. Carline released a written statement announcing they've filed charges against the bully, who's a 13-year-old teen girl. Hello, parents. Where are you? What are you doing? Okay, so she disappeared for a few days. Okay, there's not much other information in there. Have I got a dog on the front veranda? Sounds like there's a dog out there. Condemn USA files Supreme Court petition to stop New York's lawfare against Trump, where the people are being disenfranchised as voters because they're trying to stop him from even running. And also, the leak from the court saying that Trump was guilty before it was, it could be like a troll, apparently, okay? Take that with a grain of salt, take everything with a grain of salt. But what it could do, even if it is a troll, is it could get Trump back into the courthouse and waste more weeks going through it again, keeping him off the trail. So there you go. Rep. James Clyburn blames Biden's declining support among black people on faulty polling. Really? Intellectual Froglegs releases his latest video masterpiece, War. Intellectual Froglegs, that's a weird title. Mid-air horror, flames are up from Air Canada Boeing jet during takeoff. Holy guacamole. Is a fire there? And here? Is that right? Wow. In a terrifying event caught on camera, flames were seen shooting from an Air Canada Boeing jet during takeoff, forcing the plane to make an emergency landing. The incident involved flight AC-872, which was en route from Toronto to Paris late Wednesday. That's funny, because Timmy was offering to sponsor me to go to the US, I believe. I believe that's what it means. Like a sponsor, you got to have someone sponsor you to be able to go to the other country, right? And I was thinking about it, right? Of going to the US. Why not? What's holding me back? Anyway, money is, but anyway. But anyway, right? That and not having a passport. And then I thought about all these, and I thought, ooh, don't know if I'm afraid of heights anyway, so you'd have to pretty much knock me out to get me on a plane, right? So, I don't know, with one of these going on, I'd want to be aware if I need to be an emergency landing or something, but you'd still have to knock me out, and I don't know how that would work. The video shows the shocking moment when flames erupted in the aircraft's wing fuel tanks just after it left the runway. Well, it looks like the front, I don't know, does that look like that's on fire to you too? Up the front here, under the little wheel? Okay, speaking to CP24, Air Canada confirmed in a statement the flames resulted from an unspecified engine issue that occurred immediately after takeoff. The Boeing 777 aircraft had 389 passengers on board at the time of the incident. After the aircraft landed, it was inspected by airport response vehicles as per normal operating processes, and it taxied to the gate on its own, said a representative from Air Canada. The aircraft will be taken out of service for further evaluation by our maintenance and engineering professionals. And if you can hear noise in the background, my cat is scratching to get in here. I'm not going to let him back in because he's just going to want to go back out again. The airline said that all passengers were rebooked at a different flight departing from Toronto later that evening. You see, I don't know if I could get back on a plane if something like that happened. A spokesperson for Toronto Pearson International Airport also confirmed to CP24 that the plane landed safely and was met by the fire department upon landing. See, I mean, I know to get over your fear, you've just got to face your fear, right? I know to get over it, but I'd love to go to the USA, honestly. But I don't know if I could get on a plane. As I said, you'd have to knock me out. The Gateway pundit previously reported that a severe and potentially catastrophic flaw has been identified in nearly 300 Boeing 777 jets operated by major airlines, including United and American Airlines. This flaw, rooted in an electrical issue, poses a risk of causing the aircraft's wing fuel tanks to ignite and explode. What about the wheel at the front? An investigation by Daily Mail has disclosed. The Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, highlighted this concern in a notice issued on March 25, 2024, which revealed that an electrostatic discharge near the centre wing fuel tanks could act as an ignition source, leading to a possible fire or explosion. Am I missing something here? Because that seriously looks like there's another explosion up here. There's no engine up here, so how is that? Or is that a light? No, that's the light. I'm a dickhead, don't mind me. That was the light. Hev. Okay. So that'll be it for the news here for today. So we'll go over to... Hang on, I'll get the camera back on. And we'll go over to the comments and Hev's a dickhead. How's that? That was the bloody light. It wasn't a fire at the front of the plane. Okay, Dana said, good morning, beautiful Hev and the Hevets. God love yous. Okay. Missy T said, like the glasses, Hev. Oh, excellent. Yeah, they just suit, they're bigger. They suit me better, that's all. And I can see better. Can read little things. Little things I couldn't read before. Alex said, I do like good aviator glasses, though. Yeah, well, I don't know. The plastic ones, I don't know, they just seemed a bit flimsy, and knowing me, I'll sit on them and I'll break them. I'll snap them in half. Alex said, I have Wayfarer and Aviator sunglasses, so I like them both. Yeah, mine are just cheap versions of like, what was the other one I went for? I went to a different place and they wanted like $500 and something for a pair of Ray-Bans or something that it even had the little thing etched on the glass, and I'm like, I don't really want anything etched on the glass, and I don't care if they're Ray-Ban, I just want this design. They didn't have anything cheaper. So I went to another shop and they had them cheaper. Robert said, that's my other channel. Got you on both now. Oh, good to see, Robert. Yep. Missy T said, UK uses beagles. Oh, no. I don't like how any science uses animals, right? I do not like any of it. None of it. Would you stop it, Smiggles? He's going, no, I'm not stopping. Alex said it's disgusting how they treat innocent animals. It is. It really is. Misty T said it's awful, poor things. Alex said these evil monsters will pay one day. Deb said, sorry I'm late, been chatting to my mum and I. Oh, God love you, Deb. Good to see you, though. Okay. We got two Debs in here, Deborah and Deb. And Alex said that's just toilet paper for Joe. The train, her big velvet train. Is that a velvet train? I don't know if it was. Look, I like velvet. It keeps you warm. I like velvet curtains, actually. If I had my own house, I'd put really thick velvet curtains on them, you know, with the lighter curtains, so you can open the curtains, obviously, during the day and look out and stuff. But out to lunch said, Jill can't catch a break with her clothes. No, I don't know. Is she picking them or is someone else picking them for her? Because seriously, she's got like an unlimited amount of money to spend on a wardrobe, really. And not even I'm not talking about taxpayer funds, but I think she's been using taxpayer funds. But anyway, especially flying all over the place. But her own money to have a lovely wardrobe. And if I had that money, you wouldn't believe how I'd be dressed, mate, I'm telling you. Just nice and classy, you know? Not dressed up to the hilt or anything, but just nice, classy clothes. George said, I heard Joe Biden shit himself again. I did that yesterday, and it looks like, look, it's funny because everyone thinks that's what happened. But if you look at it, it kind of does look like he's trying to sit down. I'm not sticking up for him, right? But it does look like he's grabbing the edge of a chair to sit down. There are chairs behind them. They are black and silver as far as I could tell. Now, my eyes might be really forked and I can't see it all and it's not a chair, right? And he could be very well shitting himself. But to me, it looked like he kept trying to sit down, oh, it's not time yet. Oh, can I? I'm really tired. I need to sit down. Only because of the way my mum acts like too, I don't know. But it's up to you. You believe what you want. If you think he shit himself, that's fine. If it looks like he's sitting on a chair, that's also fine. Out to lunch said toilet paper. Alex said it's becoming a regular thing, George. Deb said, I watch Biden riding a bike. They are trying to talk to him. He just rides on and not acknowledge anyone. No, he's too busy trying not to fall off the bike, I think, Deb. He's concentrating hard. Can't fall off this bike. I couldn't even imagine trying to put my mum on a bicycle. My mum's got dementia. Looks a bit like Biden. Same walk, same kind of thing, Out to lunch said Jill in the hooker boots. Yeah. That doesn't look good on older people, those fishy net type stockings and, It might look good with a pantsuit or a nice dress or something like long dress. I don't know. When you get older, I kind of think you should sort of not dress for your age, but a little more conservatively. I mean, no one wants to see wrinkly skin hanging out, No one wants to see that, so no. But that's just me. I mean, you dress how you want. Everyone does what they want. It's me, okay? It's not you, it's me. Really. Oh. Alex says, is that where he kept falling off? I think he needs a stabiliser training wheels. He needs what my mum's got. It's one of those little walkers with the wheels on it. So you're not, falling over or, yeah, that type of thing. I think you need the stabiliser training wheels, Deb. Deb said, did you say Biden was driving a plane? Me? I don't know. No, not Biden. Biden wasn't flying a plane. One of the astronauts were, apparently. Hey, Sherry, how you going? Missy T said, who lets a 90-year-old fly? Depends on how cognitive they are. But then again, they could have a heart attack while flying, a stroke while flying.